stop. Before you drink that, eat that, or scroll past this, you need to hear what I'm about to tell you. Because right now, at this very moment, millions of people are doing something completely ordinary. Something they've done every single day for years. Something their parents did. Something society told them was totally fine. And it is quietly, invisibly, aging their heart by 2 full decades. Not their face, not their joints. Their heart. The one organ you cannot replace. The one organ that doesn't warn you until it's too late. I've spent over a decade studying cardiovascular disease. I've sat with patients who were 45 years old, athletic, healthy looking, no family history, and watched them survive a heart attack that should have killed them. And when we ran the tests, when we looked at the scans and the blood work and the inflammation markers, their heart looked like it belonged to a 65-year-old. How? Why? One habit. One daily habit they never suspected. And here's what shocked me most. It's not smoking. It's not alcohol. It's not even fast food. It's something far more common. Far more accepted. Something you probably did this morning without thinking twice. Today, I'm going to show you the 5 daily habits that are aging your heart at an alarming rate. We're counting down from 5 to 1. And I promise you, by the time we reach number 1, you will never look at your daily routine the same way again. The last one? It's the one nobody talks about, the one that doesn't make headlines, the one that even some doctors overlook, and it could be the very thing silently taking years off your life. Right now, today, as you watch this. Stay with me, because what's coming in this list could literally save your life. Let's start the countdown, all right? Let's get into it. And I want you to think about your morning as I walk you through this, because that's exactly where habits number 5 and number 4 live. 5. Habit number 5, you're sitting within an hour of waking up. Here's something most people don't realize. The first 60 minutes after you wake up are the most critical window for your cardiovascular system. Your blood is thicker in the morning, your cortisol is spiking, your blood vessels are in the process of waking up, literally dilating and adjusting pressure. And what do most people do during that window? They grab their phone, sit on the edge of the bed, shuffle to the couch, sit at the breakfast table, drive to work. 90 minutes of almost zero movement, right when your heart needs the opposite. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology followed over 90,000 people for 6 years. The finding was clear. Those who remained sedentary in the early morning hours had a 34% higher risk of cardiovascular events compared to those who incorporated even light movement. 34% from just sitting still. I had a patient, and let's call him Tariq, 47 years old, sales manager. Sharp, driven, no major health complaints. He came in for a routine checkup and his arterial stiffness score was off the charts. We talked through his day. Wakes up at 6, phone until 7, car by 7:15, desk by 8. Barely moves until lunch. His heart, by every measurable marker, was performing like a 63-year-old's. We made one change. Just one. Every morning before he touched his phone, he walked for 10 minutes. Outside. That's it. 3 months later, his inflammation markers dropped. His resting heart rate improved. He told me he hadn't felt that good in 15 years. The fix is simple, and before you sit down in the morning, move. 10 minutes of walking, light stretching, anything that gets blood flowing before your body settles into stillness. Don't underestimate this. Your heart remembers every morning you gave it nothing. 4. Habit number 4. You're chronically mildly dehydrated. This one surprises people every single time. Not severely dehydrated. Not dizzy, dry-mouthed, headache dehydrated. Mildly. Chronically. Every day. See, when your body is even slightly low on water, as little as 1 to 2% below optimal, your blood becomes more viscous, thicker, and your heart has to work significantly harder to push that thicker blood through your arteries and veins. Imagine trying to pump honey through a garden hose instead of water. That's what your heart is doing when you're underhydrated. Over time, days, months, years of this, the heart muscle thickens from the constant overwork. The arterial walls accumulate stress. Inflammatory proteins build up in the bloodstream. Researchers at the National Institutes of Health published a study that followed adults over 25 years. They found that people who consistently maintained good hydration were significantly less likely to develop heart failure and showed far slower biological aging of the cardiovascular system. 25 years of data pointing to something as simple as water. Most people drink coffee in the morning, which is a mild diuretic. They skip water entirely until mid-morning or lunch. And by then, their heart has already been grinding against thick blood for 4 to 5 hours straight. Every single day. The fix. Drink 400 to 500 milliliters of water, roughly 2 glasses, within 20 minutes of waking. Before coffee, before food, before anything else. This one act rehydrates your blood, eases pressure on your arterial walls, and gives your heart a dramatically easier start to the day. It costs you nothing. It takes 60 seconds, and your heart will feel the difference in ways you can't fully see, but your future self absolutely will. 2 habits down, 3 to go, and we're just getting started. Because the next 2, they're hiding in plain sight. One of them is something you've been told is healthy, something marketed to millions as a wellness habit. But the science tells a very different story. I need you to pay close attention here, because this is where most people push back. This is where I lose people. Not because they don't believe me, but because they don't want to believe me. What I'm about to tell you challenges something millions of people have built their identity around. Let's go. Habit number 3. You're doing too much intense exercise without recovery. I know what you're thinking. Doctor, you just told me to move more. Now you're saying exercise is bad? No, I'm saying the wrong kind of exercise, done the wrong way, without proper recovery, is silently destroying your cardiovascular system. Here's the science. When you push your body through high-intensity exercise, heavy lifting, aggressive cardio, back-to-back intense workouts, your body releases a surge of cortisol and adrenaline. That's normal. That's expected. Your heart rate spikes, your blood pressure elevates, your inflammatory markers rise. The key word is temporarily. In a healthy cycle, you stress the system, then you recover. The inflammation resolves. The heart adapts. You get stronger. But here's what's happening to millions of people right now. They're stressing the system and never fully recovering. They're going hard Monday, hard Tuesday, moderate Wednesday, hard again Thursday. Telling themselves rest is weakness. Telling themselves more is always better. Their cortisol never fully drops. Their inflammatory markers stay elevated, not sky high, just permanently simmering. Cardiologists call this chronic low-grade cardiovascular inflammation, and it is one of the most underdiagnosed drivers of premature heart aging in otherwise healthy, active adults. A study out of the European Heart Journal tracked 1,000 recreational athletes over 10 years. Those who trained intensely more than 5 days a week without structured recovery showed significantly higher rates of arterial calcification than moderate exercisers. And even than some sedentary individuals. Let that sink in. Training too hard, too often, aged their arteries faster than people who barely exercised at all. I had a patient, a 39-year-old woman, marathon runner, CrossFit enthusiast, picture of health from the outside. She came in with persistent fatigue and occasional chest tightness she'd been ignoring for months. Her cardiac inflammation markers were through the roof. She wasn't sick. She was overtrained, and her heart was paying the price. The fix: build structured recovery into your week. 2 full rest or light movement days minimum. Prioritize sleep, because that's when your heart rate variability recovers and your cardiovascular system actually repairs itself. More is not always more. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your heart is stop. Habit number 2. You're living in a constant state of low-level stress. We're at number 2 now, and I want you to be honest with yourself as you hear this. Not crisis level stress, not trauma. Not the kind of stress you'd recognize and label. I'm talking about the background noise, the low hum, the constant quiet pressure that modern life has convinced you is just normal. The overflowing inbox you never fully clear. The financial worry that lives just beneath the surface. The relationship tension you push down because there's no time to deal with it. The news you consume before bed. The to-do list that greets you the moment you open your eyes. That kind of stress. Here's what it does to your heart. And the science here is both clear and terrifying. Chronic low-level stress keeps your body in a near-constant state of sympathetic nervous system activation. Your brain perceives ongoing threat, so it keeps your cortisol slightly elevated, keeps your adrenaline slightly elevated, keeps your blood pressure slightly elevated. Slightly, every day, for years. Your arteries are under constant low-grade tension. The inner lining, the endothelium, becomes inflamed and damaged over time. Plaque begins to accumulate in places it shouldn't. Your heart rate variability, one of the strongest predictors of cardiovascular health, slowly deteriorates. A Harvard Medical School study tracked over 17,000 adults across 13 years. Those who reported persistent daily stress had a 43% higher likelihood of dying from cardiovascular disease, even after controlling for smoking, diet, and exercise. 43% from stress alone. And the cruelest part? Most of these people didn't consider themselves stressed. They considered themselves busy. They wore it like a badge. They called it hustle. Their hearts called it something else entirely. I think of a patient, a 52-year-old school principal, calm voice, organized, never raised his temper. From the outside, the least stressed person you'd ever meet. Inside, his cortisol profile looked like someone in a constant emergency. His heart age on imaging was 71, 19 years older than his actual age. He had never once connected his quiet, managed daily pressure to his cardiovascular health. Nobody had ever told him. The fix: you cannot eliminate stress, but you can interrupt its grip on your nervous system. 10 minutes of controlled breathing daily, specifically extended exhale breathing, where your exhale is longer than your inhale, has been clinically shown to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, lower cortisol, and measurably improve heart rate variability within weeks. Not months. Weeks. Your heart is listening to your nervous system every second of every day. Start speaking a calmer language to it. 4 habits down. 1 remains, and I kept it for last for a reason, because habit number 1 is the one that connects everything, the one that amplifies every other habit on this list, the one that operates completely in silence. No symptoms, no warning signs, until the damage is already done. It affects over 1 billion people worldwide. Most of them have no idea. And there is a very real chance it is affecting you, right now, tonight. All right, I've been building to this moment since the beginning of this video, and I need you to understand, what I'm about to share with you is not a theory. It is not a wellness trend. It is not something I read in a self-help book. This is peer-reviewed science. This is what I see in my patients. This is what the data has been screaming at us for over 2 decades, while the world looked the other way. Habit number 1. The daily habit that is aging your heart faster than almost anything else on this list. 1. Habit number 1. You are not getting deep, restorative sleep. I know what just happened. Some of you relaxed. You thought I was going to say something more dramatic, something more exotic. Sleep? That's it? Yes, that's it. And the fact that your first reaction was relief? That is exactly the problem. Because we have been so catastrophically misled about sleep that most people treat it as optional, as a luxury, as something to catch up on during weekends, as the first thing to sacrifice when life gets busy. And that casual dismissal, that cultural badge of honor around sleeping less, is quietly carving years off your cardiovascular life. Here is what happens inside your body during deep sleep. And I mean deep sleep. Not just lying in bed, not light dozing, not the fragmented 4 or 5 hours millions of people call a full night. During genuine, deep, restorative sleep, your blood pressure drops significantly. Your heart rate slows, your arterial walls physically relax and repair micro damage accumulated during the day. Your body releases growth hormone, which rebuilds cardiac muscle tissue. Your brain clears out toxic proteins, including amyloid, which, when accumulated, has now been directly linked to cardiovascular disease. Your heart is not just resting during sleep, it is rebuilding every single night, if you let it. Now here is where it gets frightening. When you sleep less than 6 hours or when your sleep is consistently fragmented and non-restorative, none of that happens fully. The pressure doesn't drop enough. The repair cycle gets cut short. The inflammatory proteins don't clear. The arterial walls don't recover. And your body, your brilliant adaptive body, responds to sleep deprivation exactly the way it responds to physical danger. It activates your stress response. Cortisol rises, adrenaline rises, inflammatory markers rise. Your blood becomes more prone to clotting. Your blood pressure stays elevated even at rest. Night after night, week after week, year after year. A groundbreaking study from the University of California, Berkeley, one of the most comprehensive sleep cardiovascular studies ever conducted, analyzed data from over 1.1 million people across 70 countries. The finding was unambiguous. People who consistently slept fewer than 6 hours per night had a 200% higher risk of heart attack compared to those sleeping 7 to 9 hours. 200%. Not 20, not 50. 200. And it gets worse. A separate study published in the European Heart Journal found that poor sleep quality, even in people sleeping 7 hours, accelerated biological aging of the cardiovascular system by an average of 16 to 20 years. 16 to 20 years. That is not a rounding error. That is not a marginal risk. That is the difference between a heart that functions like a 45-year-old and one that functions like a 65-year-old. In the same body, at the same age, with the same diet. The only variable was sleep. I think about a patient I will never forget, a 44-year-old engineer. Brilliant man. Proud of his 5-hour sleep schedule. Wore it like a trophy. Told me he'd trained his body to need less sleep. Told me he got more done before 6 a.m. than most people got done all day. He came in after a mild cardiac event, what people casually call a mini heart attack. When we ran his full cardiovascular panel, his arterial age was 67. His heart rate variability was in the bottom 5th percentile for his age group. His endothelial function, the health of the inner lining of his blood vessels, was critically compromised. He sat across from me in that office and said 7 words I have never forgotten. I didn't think sleep could do this. Most people don't. Because sleep deprivation doesn't hurt. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't give you a warning sign you can point to and say, there, that's the problem. It just quietly, methodically, relentlessly ages your heart. Every short night is a missed repair cycle. Every fragmented sleep is an inflammatory event. Every morning you wake up exhausted and push through on caffeine. Your heart pays a toll you cannot see on your face, but absolutely shows up on your scans. And here's the part that should shake you to your core. You cannot fully recover lost sleep. The science is clear on this. Weekend catch-up sleep reduces some of the short-term damage, but it does not reverse the cumulative cardiovascular aging caused by chronic sleep deprivation. The debt compounds. The fix. And this is non-negotiable. 7 to 9 hours of sleep is not a goal. It is a biological requirement for cardiovascular survival. Treat your sleep window the way you treat a medical appointment. With the same commitment, the same protection, the same refusal to cancel. Create a consistent sleep and wake time, even on weekends. Your heart runs on a circadian rhythm, and inconsistency alone disrupts cardiovascular function. Lower your bedroom temperature to between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Your core body temperature must drop to initiate deep sleep. Remove all screens 45 minutes before bed. Blue light suppresses melatonin and delays deep sleep onset by up to 90 minutes. And if you snore, or if you've been told you stop breathing during sleep, please get tested for sleep apnea immediately. Untreated sleep apnea is one of the single most aggressive accelerators of cardiovascular aging in existence. It is underdiagnosed, undertreated, and profoundly dangerous. Your heart rebuilds at night. Let it. That is habit number 1. And now you have all 5. Take a breath. I mean that literally. Right now, a slow, deep breath. Because what you just learned in this video is a lot to absorb. And I don't want you to walk away from this feeling overwhelmed, hopeless, or afraid. I want you to walk away feeling something far more powerful, informed, in control, ready. Because here is the truth that gets lost in all the medical noise and the frightening statistics and the cautionary stories. Your heart is extraordinary. It is the most resilient, adaptive, forgiving organ in your body. It has been beating for you every single second of your life. Through stress, through poor sleep, through sedentary mornings and dehydrated afternoons and years of quiet pressure you never even recognized as dangerous. It has never stopped fighting for you. And the very moment you start fighting for it, it responds. That is not motivation speak. That is cardiovascular biology. Let's bring it all together. Let's revisit what we covered today. Habit number 5, morning sedentary behavior. Sitting still during the critical first hour after waking forces your heart to push thick, sluggish blood through stiff, unprepared vessels. The fix? 10 minutes of movement before you sit down. Every morning, no exceptions. Habit number 4, chronic mild dehydration. Thicker blood means a harder working heart, every single day. The fix? 2 full glasses of water within 20 minutes of waking. Before coffee, before everything. This single act changes the viscosity of your blood and eases your heart's workload immediately. Habit number 3 is overtraining without recovery. Intense exercise without structured rest keeps cortisol elevated, inflammation simmering, and arteries under constant stress. The fix? Build 2 genuine recovery days into every week. Protect your sleep. Understand that rest is not weakness. It is where your cardiovascular strength is actually built. Habit number 2, chronic low-level stress. The quiet background hum of modern life is one of the most underestimated forces aging your heart. The fix? 10 minutes of extended exhale breathing daily. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 7. Do this every day, and within weeks, your heart rate variability will measurably improve. And your cardiovascular system will thank you in ways that will show up on your next health screening. Habit number 1, non-restorative sleep. The single most powerful cardiovascular aging force most people completely ignore. The fix? 7 to 9 hours. Consistent sleep and wake times. Cool, dark room. Screens off 45 minutes before bed. And if you snore or feel exhausted despite hours in bed, get evaluated for sleep apnea. Do not wait. Here is your starting point. Tonight, I'm not asking you to overhaul your entire life by tomorrow morning. I'm asking you to do 5 things. Starting tonight. 1. Set a consistent bedtime and commit to it like a medical appointment. 2. Put your phone in another room before you sleep. 3. Place a full glass of water on your bedside table for the morning. 4. Set a reminder for 10 minutes of movement tomorrow morning before you sit down. 5. Take 3 slow, extended exhale breaths right now before you close this video. That's it. 5 decisions. Tonight. Your heart has been carrying you for every year of your life without complaint, without pause, without a single day off. It is asking you for something remarkably small in return. Give it the sleep it needs to rebuild. Give it the water it needs to flow freely. Give it the movement it needs to stay strong. Give it the calm it needs to stop simmering in silent inflammation. Give it the rest it needs to repair what years of busy living have quietly worn down. Start tonight, not Monday, not after the holidays, not when life slows down. Tonight, because your heart doesn't wait for the right moment. It just keeps beating, hoping you'll finally start paying attention. Before you go, and I have one question for you. Out of the 5 habits we covered today, which one hit closest to home? Was it the morning sedentary behavior, the dehydration, the overtraining, the silent daily stress? Or was it habit number 1, the sleep? Drop it in the comments right now. Tell me which habit you're committing to change first. I read every single comment, and your answer might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today to take their own first step. And if this video made you think of someone, a friend, a parent, a partner, a colleague who pushes through on 5 hours of sleep like it's a superpower, share this with them. You might be giving them something more valuable than you realize. If you want to go deeper, if you want to understand exactly how to rebuild your cardiovascular health from the inside out, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Because what's coming next in this series goes even further. We're talking about the specific foods that accelerate arterial aging, the morning supplements that cardiologists quietly recommend to their own families, and the one lab test your doctor may not be ordering, but absolutely should be. You found this video for a reason. Your heart is worth protecting, and now you know how.